Hi, best friends.
I'm Tabby.
And I'm Caitlin. And today we will be wrapping up the rest of our thoughts on Akatar.
You never have to hear about it again until we do the other series.
Yeah, until there are more books and until we read other book series that are slightly related, and we'll never stop talking about it.
Yeah, like you're never gonna escape it, you silly gooses.
We're just going on a hiatus.
So we're gonna start it off by just reading a quick synopsis. It's a pretty short chapter, but we're gonna read a quick synopsis of what goes down. We'll touch a little bit on the Feyre and Rhysand chapter, but really our main focus here is Azriel.
Yeah, that's what we care the most about. And then if you do want to read the full bonus chapters on your own, Iced Fiji Water on Reddit has a Google Drive and it has all of the bonus chapters. So thank you.
We can add the link onto our website for y'all too.
Oh yes, that'll be great. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're gonna just kind of do a quick synopsis of the Azriel chapter. So this takes place after a court of silver flames. Azriel is the only one still awake after the family's winter solstice party. He's feeling envious of Cassian and Rhys because they are in love with their mates and it's making him jealous. Elaine comes down the stairs. She's planning to sneak a present onto Azriel's pile, but she's surprised to run into Azriel. And she gives him another kind of joke gift like she did in the previous novella. Mm-hmm. And he gives her a beautiful necklace and she's like, will you put it on me? And they have this little romantic vibe.
A whole moment in the hallway.
A whole moment. They both get turned on. And Azriel is about to lay the Mac on, but Rhys speaks into his mind from the top of the stairs and he's like, what the fuck are you doing? Come to my office right away. So Azriel tells Elaine oh man, this was a mistake. And Elaine's like, oh my God, I'm sorry. And he's like, no, don't apologize, but I gotta go. So he goes up to Rhys's study.
Yeah, and so Rhys is reprimanding Azriel for making moves on Elaine while her mate is literally sleeping in the same house. So I get it. And also, but Rhys, maybe don't watch people from the staircase. That's kind of creepy. I don't know. But Azriel tells Rhys how he thinks the cauldron was wrong and it mated Feyre and Rhys and Cassian and Nesta, so he feels like he should have been mated with Elaine. It's well, you're not really entitled to her, but okay. And so Rhys orders Azriel to stay away from Elaine, and he points out that Lucien can defend their mating bond by invoking the blood duel, which no one really does that anymore, but it's basically a battle to the death, and potentially it could ruin the alliances that they have with the Autumn Court that they have worked so hard to build, as well as the Spring Court, because Lucien and Tamlin are tight.
Yeah, and also Jurian and Bassa.
Basically, it'll ruin everything.
Yeah.
So Azriel's upset, but he knows Rhys is right. And so he flies to the House of Wind to work out in the training pit, but Gwen is already up there practicing with her sword, doing some Valkyrie training.
Yeah, so Gwen is up there trying to cut the ribbon with her sword, like the Valkyrie do at one of their training exercises. And Azriel has a little bit of a flashback. He remembers the day that he found her at Sangreval, and he kind of just contemplates wow, she's changed so much since then. And they kind of exchange pleasantries and banter a little bit about what they did for Solstice. Gwen asks Azriel whether he sings because he's a shadow singer. And he's like, yeah, actually I do. And then he's trying to tell her how she can improve her form to cut the ribbon. And he just kind of gives her advice and goes to bed.
It's really cute. So the next morning he returns back to the river house, and Elaine has returned the necklace on top of his pile of gifts, and he thought about returning it to the Story of Bought It, but instead he goes to Clotho down in the library and was like, please give this to Gwen instead. And Clotho was like, oh my God, she will love it, and I will tell her that a friend left it for her. And Azriel then imagines how Gwen's eyes might light up when she sees the necklace, and it brings a small smile to his face because there's something beautiful in the world again.
Something sweet. Something almost sweet.
Yeah, and so that's the chapter. It's uneventful, but also very eventful.
Yeah, it's because we obviously know Azriel has been struggling. He has been dealing with abandonment issues his entire life. Mm-hmm. He is feeling lonely, and Mor has had him like on the hook for like freaking 500 years, pretending that one day she might return his love. And he is just a sad, sad boy.
He's like super into problematic women. He's like, I can't have more, then I'll have Elaine, who I also can't have because she's promised to somebody else. It's like, dude, pick someone else.
I know, like pick someone who's
like Gwyn.
Unavailable. Yeah, like Gwyn. For those of you who don't know, I am a Gwynriel stan.
Same.
So is Tabitha. Yeah, we are not Elreal stans.
Which is a stupid name anyway. It does not really roll off the tongue like Gwynriel does it?
Yeah, it kind of just sounds like your tongue stuck in the back of your throat.
Elreal.
Like Elreal. Yeah, don't love it.
Sounds like a Lord of the Ring name.
It does. And like that's a different series, okay?
That's stupid. Just kidding. I love Lord of the Rings. I would never. Yeah, how dare I?
So what are some thoughts? Lord of the Rings walked so Sarah J. Maas could run.
So ACOTAR could run.
So some thoughts on the bonus chapter. Again, this is just the Asriel bonus chapter. There are more. But no one likes a regifter as.
Fucking D-Din. Like, who does that?
Yeah, like, dog. At least return that necklace and get her a different one.
Because wasn't it like flowers? Like it was like flowers on the necklace. It's like, does Gwyn even like flowers?
Well, he picked it out with Elaine in mind. So like it's extra fucked up because not only did he pick it out with Elaine in mind, but he had feelings for Elaine when he picked it out. And he's like, you know what? I'm gonna just give it to someone else.
Yes.
Absolutely hate that. But you know what? He doesn't strike me as someone who's like good with women, so I'm not surprised that he did that.
In his mind, he was probably like, she will love this because
all women love
necklaces. Yeah, that's probably exactly what his mindset was, because they're used to getting more gifts and like more even commented on like how shitty their gifts always are.
Oh yeah, and the thing is like more she does kind of like dress to the nines and stuff. Like that is something that like more would appreciate. But like Gwyn, she's a priestess. She's not like the most fashion forward, person. Like that's not really like, I'm sure she would love the necklace, don't get me wrong, just because she would be like, oh wow, that's so beautiful, thank you. But it's not like personalized to her. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, not the best move on his part.
Some of my other thoughts about it, just really building up my argument that Gwyn and Asriel should be together. I just feel like they have way more in common. Both, obviously, they're going to do some trauma bonding. Who doesn't love some trauma bonding? But they're both just very strong people. And I'm not saying Elaine isn't, but we have not seen any evidence that she is. And like we kind of saw her claws come out a little bit more in A Court of Silver Flames when she fights back against Nesta and was like, well, I was there. Like I was the one kidnapped too. And so like that was cool. But like Gwyn's doing something about it. She's not hiding in the library anymore. Like she's training with the Valkyrie. She's getting the other priestesses out. Like she is, wanting to take on more. And so I really just feel like she and Asriel like get along better in that sense because they're cut from the same cloth almost.
I agree with you. Yeah. I just think that also like not only are they like more compatible, but like it's just a better fit. Like Elaine is literally mated to Lucian. Like it's gonna cause all sorts of drama for Elaine and Asriel to get together when like Gwyn is totally available. So it's like that. I mean, not that that's the only reason you should.
Yeah, like we shouldn't do like he shouldn't go for her just because she's there. But I just feel like he already kind of has feelings for her, and I think it's going to be like one of those friends to lovers type situations where like there could be a potential love triangle, but there's not because eventually he realizes like Gwyn is the better fit for him. He thinks he's in love with Elaine.
Yeah, which I do get. Like he has like grown really close with Elaine. Like I get why he has feelings for her. So.
I think the only reason he has though is because he feels like he's owed a sister. Basically, he's like, my brothers have one. Why don't I get one? And it's like that's kind of fucked. Like I don't know.
Kind of, like brought that up to Reese. Like
yeah,
that's something he needs to unpack for sure. I'm like not blaming him, but certainly like let's figure out why you're feeling that way and work through it. Another, like, this is not a huge deal, but like Azriel singing, I'm sorry. Like, I literally cannot imagine Azriel having a good singing voice. Like,
See, I do.
and like, I'm sure that he does. And I'm sure that Feyre's a good painter, but like canonically, my mind is just like Feyre's bad at painting and Azriel's bad at singing, and just no one tells them otherwise. And I don't know. I can't imagine it any other way.
I like think of, I don't know, I can't remember. It's like Anna May something. It's like that German or Russian group. It's on TikTok everywhere. Like, they sing like Tom's Diner, and like the dude has like the crazy deep
The
voice.
second guy that comes in.
Yeah, that's who I kind of
and
think
he feels
of.
it on the halfway.
Yeah, that's kind of who I was thinking of though, like for Azriel's voice.
You know what? I could see it.
Yeah.
Right. You've convinced me.
Anna May Cantorite.
Yes.
That's who I picture.
Okay.
So I don't know.
I'm gonna try to keep that in my mind for next time.
I feel like he has like a beautiful deep voice.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah. Some other, thoughts I had about the chapter was just Rhys's behavior towards Azriel, and we talked about it a little bit, but I see where Rhys is coming from, because they do have a lot at stake, obviously, with like the rebuilding of Prithian and like trying to have good ties with like all the other territories. They need to tread carefully, but also it's like, come on, dude, like no one said anything. Like when Cassian and Nesta were like up each other's butts, and like and no one said anything when you were trying to like seduce Feyre away from Tamlin. Like,
okay, so yes, Rhys,
the more has to do with the mating bond. He respects the mating bond.
He does. But another thing is their dynamic is they are literally, like, in their minds, they are brothers. So I think that whenever they do have a disagreement, it's also they're going to be kind of like harsh with each other.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised that he kind of like puts his foot down like that, because that is, whenever you get in an argument with your sibling, that is how you kind of talk to them.
Right. Well, and I also just really like seeing that side of Rhysand as well, because I feel like when you get it from Feyre's point of view, like we're only seeing like what she sees, which is like her mate and her friend and like the person who like was there for her, rather than like seeing like the High Lord and the one who has to like kind of put his foot down, who has had 500 years worth of like friendship with these other people. And so I think that's just like a cool side of Rhys that we get to see, where he does have to be like the bad guy in some situations.
Yeah, true. Because whenever Rhys and Feyre like disagreed, they would always kind of have like a super calm resolution. Well, not at first, but once they were made it.
Yeah. Not under the mountain, but
they would at least fuck it out.
Yeah. But it's like Rhys is Azriel's High Lord, like he's not an equal like Feyre is. And so
yeah.
Like he really does kind of have to like step down in that situation.
True. And then Azriel even like says whenever he realizes that Rhys is pulling rank, he's like, oh, like he's
okay.
It's okay. Guess I'll step back.
I guess.
Yeah, because I mean, Rhys would never, but like he could like literally wipe Azriel from this.
Like by snapping his fingers, like with a blink, he could like.
It might be a little like challenging to get rid of Az or Cassian, but like he certainly would win.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Maybe not hand to hand, but like in terms of magic, yeah, he could like.
Yeah.
He could fuck it up.
Absolutely. But again, our Rhys would never. Kind of the last thing, and we'll kind of talk a little bit about this as we get into some of our fanfics. Azriel has got to be a freak in the bedroom. Mm-hmm. He was literally like locked in a room by himself as a child in the dark, like abandoned for years. Like you don't make it out of that unscathed.
Yeah, there's some trauma that has become some weird kink that we will see later. And like Sarah J. Maas has even said in like some of her interviews, like when people ask about Azriel, she's like, yeah, no, Azriel is like a real freak. And so I'm stoked to see that translate into like some of the other books.
Yeah. So that brings us to, we looked up some fan fictions about our man Azriel. So I am going to start with the couple that I found on Wattpad. So the first one is called A Court of Darkness and Melodies by _book addict 79. So let me, it's, okay, guys, I was reading this one. I did not realize that it's unfinished until I got to the end. It's 19 chapters, but it was last updated in July of 2021. So
Gotcha.
it hurts. It hurts.
It was good though?
Yeah, I was into it. I was like, oh, it's a slow burn. But the thing is, it's unfinished. So it just never like comes to be. But in case they ever do update, like I do think that the writing was good. So kind of the beginning is, it picks up after the bonus chapter. That's why I was like, oh yeah, okay, I'm loving how this fits into the story. Asriel is still feeling like hung up on Elaine, but then something's also kind of like brewing between him and Gwyn. So the description says, Asriel is spiraling and shutting everyone out. Ever since that night on winter solstice, Asriel has been going in deeper and deeper, and even his brothers failed to pull him out of the void he has fallen into. And then it says, Gwyn's life is better than ever. And then it actually cuts off, but so Gwyn's
really good.
So they start off as friends and kind of develop like in that chapter, the bonus chapter, like they have a friendship and it's being built upon. The next one is finished, so
thank God.
Less of a bummer. It is called A Court of Stars and Shadows, and it's by seriously _prongs_ and then Sirius is spelled like Sirius Black. It is 15 chapters plus an epilogue, and there is no smut, but they do get together. Like it's, it's written in there. It's just not detailed, which is fine. They are mates. Asriel and Gwyn are mates, and I hope that's canon. Okay, I'm into that. So the apparently I just don't know how to read these descriptions. So this one always comes off. Somebody tell me what I'm doing wrong. Asriel, the spy master of the Night Court, one of the most powerful Illyrians to walk Prithian. He was damaged, he was broken, and he thought himself evil. He found solace in his darkness and in his shadows. And then, Gwyneth comes to be his light, the light of his life.
Cute.
Yeah, so the next ones are on AO3. And this next one is smut. It's 1 chapter long. It's entitled As and Gwyn Decide to Take It to the Next Level. It is very
all smut.
It is by Sarah _Bay_ Mass, Sarah Bay Mass. I love that. And so the description just says, not me writing this because I needed the smut in my life. No, ma'am, I would never dare. Mm-hmm. And she did dare. Sarah Bay Mass.
Sarah Bay, thanks for doing God's work.
You are keeping it real because we know that there would be smut. And then in the next one, in Archive of Our Own, it is entitled A Court of Song and Shadow. It is 9 chapters long and it is completed, and they are mates again in this one, which I, again, hope is canon. And so this one is kind of fun. It's got a little bit of it's 9 chapters long, but it's like one kind of short story. And so it's Gwynriel are out with their friends at a karaoke night, and they kind of like go home together, drunk. Also, I forgot to say who it's by. It's by Just a Whore.
Yeah, very important to note. It is by Just a Whore, and we love her.
We love her. If you want to talk about yours.
Yeah, so I found one. Caitlin kind of carried the team on fanfics this week. I did find one that I like, though. It's called On My Radar. It's also on AO3. It's by Viking Magic _3. So just like a little snapshot of it. It's Asriel will help Gwyn overcome her past in any way that she decides she needs. But he's more than a little shocked and intrigued by just how explicit some of her requests become. How will this dynamic affect their friendship? Will he finally find a way to let someone in? Will they be able to work together to serve their court? Great questions. From what I've read, so it is like an ongoing story. So far, there are 17 chapters. She actually just updated it today. I haven't got through all 17 chapters yet, but it's been pretty smutty from what I've read so far. And some of the like tags on there are light masochism, light bondage, wax play, shameless smut. And so I know it's going to be a good one.
I will be adding that
probably
to my
read the
list.
rest of it. Yeah.
I have struggled to find one that was smutty and multiple parts. So 10 out of 10 work.
10 out of 10. Really hit it on the head there. Thank you so much, Viking Magic.
That is everything I was looking for.
Yeah.
So even though I found more fics, you found, I think, the real
found the crown jewel.
So next, Tabby's been waiting to talk about it for 10 weeks now. We are going to talk about evil Elaine.
My undying hatred for this character.
Yeah, so not only do we not want Elaine and Azriel to end up together, we want the worst for Elaine.
Yeah, I want the downfall of Elaine.
She's evil.
The only caveat to that is if she ends up with Tamlin. Like, that is the only thing that I will accept at this point in time to even, like, redeem her a little bit. But other than that, like, she can kick rocks for all I care.
Yeah, I think if she ended up with Tamlin, because he's kind of, been an asshole too, I think that they would, like, end up being happy together and, like, stop being assholes to everyone.
Yeah. Like, I think they find the true meaning of love, and that's how that works.
Yeah, it would solve everything.
So, some things to point out about Elaine as a whole. So, we know that she supposedly, like, after going into the cauldron, she had the gift of sight, and like she had a bunch of visions, and like they all came true. But then after she was kidnapped, they just like stopped. And while Nesta, we find out in A Court of Silver Flames, is still able to use her power, Elaine's like, yeah, I don't know, guys, sorry, it's like gone. Super strange. So I think she's lying. First of all, I think she's a dirty, rotten liar. But also, like, every time she's around Azriel, his shadows like hide, or they like disappear, like they're affected by her. And so I think like they can sense something not right in Elaine and like are like fearful of her. I also think like she is super good at reading people's emotions and like being able to kind of see like what they're feeling. And she even does that like to Azriel in the bonus chapter. Like, either he had everything written on his face, which is very uncharacteristic for Azriel, or she is just like super keyed into like what's going to happen in the future. I think she uses that like to her advantage almost. I also feel like she is going to use Azriel's affection towards her to her advantage. So I think she can still see the future, and I think she is foreseeing something to put her in a place of power, and she's going to use Azriel and his love for her to get there. I don't know, is that far-fetched?
I don't know. I don't think so. I really don't trust her.
I don't either. And like on top of that, she's been hanging out a lot with Nuala and Caradwyn. And while I don't think the twins would do anything nefarious, I do think they've just taught her too much, and like she's going to use that against them. Like maybe she has like seen something with Kostray or with like what he's going to end up doing. Because there wasn't really any resolution with Kostray at the end of Silver Flames, or maybe she's foreseen something with like the Eighth Court, or like something that'll happen with like Montessori or like Valahans. Like there's a lot of different things that I think are in play, and like I do think she's seen all of it.
Yeah, because if we are like right about our theory that Feyre's family is like, descendants from that Eighth Court, then she might consider herself to have some kind of right to
claim.
it. Yeah. So, which is like, girl, calm down. If that is
an older sister.
Yeah, you do have an older sister, and you have a sister who's a lot more powerful than you and High Lady of the Night Court. So just sit down.
And also, it just doesn't make any sense to me, like, why she would not choose my sweet, sweet Prince Lucian. Like,
yeah, she hasn't even given him a chance.
Give him a chance!
Because, okay, so we can't even blame it on the fact that she was hung up on Grayson, because she's over there flirting with Azriel.
Yeah, she got over him real quick.
Yeah, like they were like, oh, like that's what Feyre would tell Lucian is like she's still mourning her relationship with Grayson, but at the same time she was getting all in Asriel's business.
Like Lucian is literally everything that she has ever looked for in a man. Like she wanted Grayson for his family's like influence and like they were in good standing. Like Lucian's literally a High Lord's son and he's
And he's
funny and he's
kind.
handsome and he has a magical eye that can see things. Like
Yeah.
what's not to love?
Yeah, Lucian, I would love
I'd
Lucian.
risk it all for Lucian. Yeah,
I
sure.
would risk it all for a few men in this book.
Yeah, like pretty much like any of them at this point. But
Not
being
Tamlin.
fully honest, not Tamlin, sorry.
Lucian, Eris, Rhys,
Eris
Asriel.
for sure all day.
Yeah.
All
Oh,
day.
Helion.
You know what? I'd even take Callias at this point.
Yeah, Callias.
What's the other one's name?
With a T.
Not Tarquin.
Tarquin. I would risk it all for Tarquin.
No, but what's like the Dawn? Not Dawn.
Oh, Thesan.
Thesan. Yeah.
Yeah, but Thesan's
He's gay, so.
Okay, yeah. I don't think Thesan would be interested in us, but that's okay.
No, I've definitely found out about myself, like characters, tall, dark, handsome, always good. But tall, dark, and fruity, that's a whole different level that I'm into.
Yeah, like I'm into them, but they're
Tall,
not
dark, and like a little bit fruity.
Well, I guess it depends on what brand of fruity, whether or not they'd be, into you.
Yeah, no, just like a little bit.
Absolutely. I agree. They're always the funniest and like humor means a lot to me.
They're very just like in touch with who they are as well. Like they know what they want. And I respect that. Mad respect for them.
So I respect that. This is so off topic at this point, but there is like a TikToker who, whenever you said tall, dark, and a little bit fruity, I immediately thought of him. Christian. I cannot think. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And he's newly sober. Congratulations, Christian. I'm very proud of you and your journey. He's been very vulnerable about it. If anyone's struggling with addiction of any kind or just like wants to follow someone who's hilarious, do I have the guy for you?
Boy, do I have the man for you. No,
it's and Christian Vierling. He's hilarious. He's always been hilarious, but now he's sober.
He's got that extra sparkle. That's what I love about like Sarah J. Maas characters, and that they're all a little bit fruity.
Oh yeah,
especially like in Throne of Glass. If no one's read that series, like none of them are straight, and no one can convince me otherwise. Not a single character in that book.
About being immortal, though, like you live long enough. Like of course you're good. It's because guys. And listen, if y'all are homophobes, first of all,
get out of here.
I don't care. Don't listen to our podcast. You cannot tell me that it's unnatural because you're an idiot. If you live for 500 years.
I'm sorry, but like there ain't no way.
Yeah, like no way. It's absolutely natural for like people to be attracted to each other or not. Like it doesn't like regardless of the gender or whatever.
Yeah. And like I've talked about this in past episodes. Like, for a fact my boy Rhys was getting it with everybody he could. Like anybody he could.
Yeah, not only was he a rich guy, he was a powerful guy. He was a good-looking guy. Like imagine like a frat boy partying,
the biggest dom energy that you've ever
give him literally more power than anyone in the world has ever had.
I'm sorry.
Fucking everything in sight.
And I don't like nothing but respect for my High Lord, first of all. Like good for him.
Yeah. I am but a humble servant in the night court.
Anyway.
We have really gone off the rails this minisode.
We're taking a break from fantasy. We are waving goodbye to ACOTAR for now. We are switching our focuses to rom-com next week. It's Hallmark Smut. Get ready. It's Window Shopping by Tessa Bailey. So excited to cover this book.
Speaking of tall, dark, and just a little bit fruity.
Aiden. Oh, dude.
So it's a pretty short read. So if you haven't started it already, don't fret. It is nothing like the length of these ACOTAR novels. So no worries. So yeah, read Window Shopping and reach out to us if you have any suggestions of books that you want us to read in the future. We would love to hear them. Our email is thesisterswarden@gmail.com.
Yeah, so we will see y'all next week. And as always,
Let's get lit.